Happy Monday, everyone. It is time for another Mondays with Micah. Hopefully we will be back to our regularly scheduled program in the weeks to come with hearing from other amazing widow warriors here in the Franklin, Southampton area. But today I want to come to you with what happened on March 1st. We're going to have a link to a video below with a 5.5, almost 6 minute video on our Walk of Love gathering. So you are all very aware that the Widow Walk was founded in 2024 and we are coming up on 1 year, and to say that it was supposed to be February, but March 1st we sprung into action, and with that, it's very windy here today. It's a blustery day, but we are moving with the wind, we are moving with the chimes, and all the noises that are coming along with that. Anyway, back to the story. Since this whole foundation started, nonprofit, it has been on my heart to gather the widows and widowers together, and we thought we were going to do this in September, and then we felt like we needed a little more time to get to know people and to get this foundation more exposure in the community, and that happened. In September, we sat down and strategized on what we wanted to do, how were we going to do that. In the months of October and November, we got out into the public with 4 different events that were like the Fall Festival. We helped with the 5K that they did here locally. We were at the Business Expo. We went to Chowan College, and just having a booth in these public vendor opportunities, and that got a lot of interest. And we had over 20 widows and widowers very quickly sign up, and so that allowed us to gather we had 26 people at my Christmas party. Judy and I hosted a Christmas party right here at my house, and it was a beautiful night, and that was enough for me to believe it was time to do something. And February is Love Month. February is time for you to celebrate, and Valentine's, it's all kind of around that. And so we were going to do it the week after Valentine's to love and celebrate our local widows and widowers. And then we got a snowstorm, so we had to we had to check on other dates, and thankfully the Hub's Vine was available March 1st, which was a week and a day later, and it went on. It happened, y'all. 100 widows and widowers came together. There was so much excitement, so much electricity in the room, and they loved it. And this video below will show you a little bit into the event from start to finish. You're going to see different clips and the people just having conversations together and the feedback that we've gotten. And before I even left that night, one of the widowers came up to me and he said this was top shelf. And that is just like, yes. I just want you to hear the excitement about when you have an idea in your head, how are you going to execute that? Are people even going to come? How do you get in contact with all these people? And the strategy came, y'all, and people registered, and then we had cancellations with the change of date, and then more people called and said, is it too late? And I said, no, actually we had cancellations today. You are meant to come, and everybody was accounted for, and we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna hopefully grow it even wider. We had people from Chesapeake, Suffolk, Emporia, Waverly, Boykins, Cortland, Franklin. We went pretty much about a 45-minute radius, north, south, east, west, and I'm telling you, y'all, we are just getting started. We are just getting started. I have been pondering this month. There has been a lot of news going around about the city of Franklin and things going on in the administration of at the Franklin High School public schools. things going on with people passing away, tragic losses that were young, and there's some tragedy in the town of Newsome's with the family. There's some tragedy here in the city of Franklin. There's been some diagnoses with friends and family that are tough diagnoses all this month, y'all. And I have to tell you, as peppy as I am right now, I have been grieving all this news. My heart has been has felt pretty broken this week. And what happens with that? How do you grieve? How do we grieve with grace and still keep a smile on our face? I'm asking that question to myself, and I just want to encourage you that something that hit me this morning in church, that it's an honor to grieve for our community. It means we love. Grief and love are so interconnected. And grief is so intense that it can take us out emotionally, mentally, and even physically. But I'm here to tell you that if we can think about grief as a measure of love, that if you don't grieve deeply, then did you love that deeply? And if you got to love deeply, then to grieve is an honor. And it creates compassion inside of us. And it creates resilience inside of us as we step into the sadness. And something that I've had to, for me, writing has been the biggest outlet of release and movement. And so there's some different things that I'm learning about. The term is modalities and integrating things into your life. What are the practices? What are the everyday tools to help you deal with hard seasons? And I'm going to just talk briefly about some of those today. And so the first one is to stop and pray. That is the number one thing, y'all. However deep your relationship with it is with the Lord, what I am learning in this season is that the more news we get, the more it starts to weigh on us and weigh us down and give us the sensation of a heavy heart, because it's sinking in, the reality of what we're hearing about. And it's scary news, and it's shocking news, and it's disappointing news. And how do you reconcile that? How do you come to acceptance of what we're having to face when it's not really good news? And you don't know how, all of a sudden the fear of the unknown. What is ahead? And I've been dreading the future, to be honest. I have felt dread of like, oh my gosh, like I just can't take another thing, and I don't know if any of you have been feeling that as well, feeling dread to face another day, And I'm sensing that that's a carnal feeling. It's a human experience here. We are dealing with the heaviness that this world carries and burdening us. And so what you're hearing is the rain right now. And I am in all the elements right now. We have the wind, we have the rain, the sun, and I love it. So we're going to continue with that rain in the background. There's a song, healing rain is coming down, healing rain is coming down. I'm not afraid of the healing rain. So I just want to encourage you to lean in. And when we feel grieved, it's really that our body is sad, and to honor the sadness. And something I wrote down is that we can surrender our sadness as an offering. If you think of it, like if you can get the sadness out of your heart and look at it and face the reality that hard is part of your story. And then we just give it to the Father as many times in the day as we have to. And as I was journaling, what I wrote down was, Micah, when you get information that is that you lose your peace over, that you feel panicked about, that you may feel anxiety about a potential doctor's appointment coming up, and you have to go in for a scan of something, and think the future is starting to make you feel anxious, to stop and pray and to cast that. And there's an app called the Pause app. It's called the Pause app. It's free. And John Eldridge is the one who developed this. And there's a bunch of different kind of like scriptural affirmations that he has, where if you need a moment to pause, and it is a good practice. And he has a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, however long you have, to help you get back to like a state of peace, basically. And he says this in the beginning of every one: I give everyone and everything to you. When we take the weight on, we're taking it on in our own strength. And it gets really hard. And it starts to overwhelm us of how can we do all this? And we can't. We really can't. We are not here to do it all. But when we partner with Jesus, the Spirit of the Lord, the Old Testament talk, I'm in Judges right now in my reading, and it keeps talking about, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon this person, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon that person, and it allowed them to do things above their natural strength levels. It grew their capacity for that war or battle or whatever it was. They did things above what they had known they could do. It grew their capacity, their threshold to be able to step into something they've never done before and execute. And that is really what we're needing, y'all. And this season right now, we're having to check in more often with prayer, and to pause and say, am I doing okay with this? And they're like, nope, my heart's not okay. Father, I give everyone and everything to you. And we keep casting our cares as an offering. And then the second thing I want to mention is that walking is another great way to regulate your body. When it gets dysregulated emotionally, it affects us. And so how do you metabolize hard information? You pause, you pray, and then you activate it with movement. You have to find something to do physically to help it unstick from your heart or your mind, wherever it may be. A lot of times it starts in our mind, and we're processing. We want to understand. We don't understand. This doesn't seem fair. And you're trying to, you can't rationally process it. And so some of you go into denial. This isn't happening. I'm just going to focus on my work. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. I'm going to doom scroll on your phone. And I'm just going to ingest something else so it'll get my mind off of it. I'm going to take a drink. I'm going to take a pill. Whatever to do to get your mind off of it. And I have purpose since 2017 to feel it so that he can heal it. I truly believe that the pain doesn't last. And the pain is a liar. But if we can use the pain as fuel to realize pain lets us know there's something going wrong sometimes in our body. A sign of pain is a sign that something is in distress, dis-ease. Dis-ease in our body is a sign of disease. But also there's emotional dis-ease. And then there's physical disease. So I hope you can hear that there are tools, there are different types of therapy, not just talk therapy, not just seeing a therapist. There's other types of therapy to help you release the pressures of this life, the overwhelm of this life, and to move forward with grace and a smile on your face. I haven't been to that smiley this week, and I'm aware of it, and I'm asking for help. And I have to keep going back to the Father for that. On top of that, to those listening, please share this, because Mr. Phelps is going to need us. He's going to need his community to rally behind them. And I'm here to tell you that a lot of people are going to rally around him over the next month. But now that I am almost 8 years into this Widow Walk story, I can tell you that the friends and family that continue to check on me in the months after quickly decrease. Because you have to go back to your regular lives. But his life, as he knew it, is over. And he needs you. He needs your letters of encouragement. He needs your text messages of encouragement. He needs you to show up on days he doesn't know that he needs you to show up. I'm asking you, the city of Franklin and beyond, that if he's on your mind, to do what your mind is telling you to do. And this is going to help his broken heart heal. We are part of his healing team. And it doesn't matter if you're licensed in anything. A sweet tea can heal a heart on a sad day. So I want to encourage all of you to check on those. And maybe there's some that live near you and you're like, well, they're doing okay. Don't assume that. Don't assume they're doing okay. A lot of us are not doing okay. I have not been doing okay. I may look like I'm doing okay. I have not been doing okay. We need each other. The sadness will lift. And that brings me to my next point. April 1st, I'm going to be starting an 8-week course. My first little book was called My Mended Heart. And last year, I turned that into a study guide, a workbook with journal prompt, activation, mindfulness questions to go along with each one. And there has been a large class at the YMCA for seniors, pretty much between 35 to 50 people coming to that class. And so this month the end of last month, I was able to go to the Y and talk to them about doing a class. And I've had some people sign up, and they're still putting a flyer out for potentially more that have walked through loss. If you are going to the Y on a regular basis and you're dealing with grief, and it's a little over all-encompassing still to you, walking through life with grief, check it out. It is actually called Lift, Living in Fellowship Together. We're going to lift each other up by getting in fellowship together right here at the YMCA. It is for members only, and I'm excited to see what's going to come of this. I'm excited to get right in the spaces where you already are, and a safe place for us to come together. I'm thankful to the Y to give me this opportunity to do something new. And with recent losses, I think it's the perfect time to pursue this. And I did before I even knew. This has been on my heart since December when we first started the conversation. And I can't believe we're here. So that's happening April 1st. On top of that, this Saturday, when you hear this video, this Saturday, March 22nd, we are going to be having our first ever Saturday gathering at the Hunterdale Fire Department at 10 o'clock. If you are walking through grief, it does not have to be just about a spouse, but mostly I am focusing on widows and widowers. If you know a widow or widower and they don't have anything to do Saturday morning, tell them about our gathering. It is available. You'll see the dates on our website, thewidowwalk.org. And we would love for you to come. We want to meet you. We want to hear your story. I need to hear more of your story. So, and lastly, I want to share with you that spring is coming. And we had our once a month we do a Thursday night gathering at the Storehouse Coffee Shop downtown, and we had that this past week, and multiple widows were talking about how they needed limbs cut down in their yard, that they had a tree that had fallen down. One lady had a flat tire on her lawnmower. There's some maintenance that we need for our local widows more so than widowers right now, and I need your help. If you have some time on your hands and you are good with a chainsaw and you are good with doing mechanical car things, I have some ladies that could use some help. And I'm really trying to build a volunteer group. Judy Hawkins Dunn, Drew Dunn has been our volunteer, and Kevin Myers, another widower, have done the labor so far for our widows and widowers. But I need to build a larger team so that when they're thinking to call us, this is part of the Widow Walk resource. We want to be a resource where you call us with your need, and you can register that online. If you go under I think Grief Empowerment tab, there is a place to register your need. It comes to us as an email, and then we're able to give you a call and find out what's going on and who we can connect you to get it done quickly. I'm hearing from widows and widowers that people are promising to show up and then never showing up. I'm mostly from widows. I'm hearing them, it's frustrating for a widow to have things that need to be done that they know they can't do. I have a widow that needs light bulbs replaced that are too high for them to reach. Not a safe thing for them to do. So there's safety issues here. There's levels of capacity that they don't have the skill in, and we need your help. Young or old, email us at thewidowwalk.org. We want to build such an amazing community servant leaders here that just one afternoon, if I had 8 guys, and they don't have to be just guys, we could knock out so much. 1 hour a lady could knock things out, and I could have teams going in different places. So that is on my heart for the spring, to be able to check on as many widows and widowers and say, how can I help? What do you need? And we're going to get a team to execute that and lift the burdens, lift the frustration, lift the worry, lift the the frustration of and anger sometimes, where you have to call people and they don't show up. All these emotional things that widows deal with on a regular basis and have had things for years they've needed help with and did not call out. And so my encouragement here to you is to check on your widows that you know, whether you're close with them in relationship or not, and say, are you okay? And is there anything I can do for you? I am seriously going to follow through on that. What do you need? This is where I'm going with this. Helping us use our voice and to identify what we need to help us get above the grief, get above the overwhelming feelings of all of it's on us, and be able to step into our new start for we have a new finish. This is not an easy task. You're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with grieving people, and some of them have been widows for 12 years, and they're not maybe grieving so much anymore, but they still have daily concerns. And some of them, they have people to help, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes the people that were helping aren't helping anymore, and they're kind of stuck. And I don't want that here in this community. I want the widows and widowers to feel cared for, to feel seen, and that their needs are going to be taken care of. When your husband was filling that role, and I'm going to say this too, so they assumed that their church family was going to step in where their husband was no longer there, or they assumed their immediate family was going to step in, and maybe in some ways they do. But I'm hearing throughout the last year, more times than not, the family did not step in, and their church family did not step in. So here we are. The Widow Walk was founded to step in. We are walking into the stories, and thankfully these are organic conversations. We are being drawn to widows. Our board is being drawn to widows, and we need more of you widows checking on your widows in your neighborhood, in your different localities. And so we're going to take this one piece at a time. It is an honor to grieve. But grief demands a response. Grief demands a response. And most of the time, grief makes us feel pain. And pain is a hard emotion to receive. We want to push it away. We want to escape. We want to go dark. I like to use that term where you just don't talk to anybody. You shut out. You shut down, basically. And you just, you can't deal with it. So you shut down emotionally, mentally. And all of these things are very normal, very common. But I think there's a higher way. I think there's a way where we can call out and teach each other how to better care for each other and how to better care for our individual self with some self-care practices, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, about pausing and praying, about getting out and moving, and then to check on others. In the process of checking on others, it helps heal us because our mind gets on somebody else and our situation doesn't seem so big. So I am not going to continue talking here. Happy Monday, y'all. This March has been heavy. And if you feel heavy and it's getting to the point that you're mentally not in a good place, please get in touch with us. We want to pray with you. We want to help you step into your new start for you having a new finish. Thank you. Bye.